Now we need a motion to receive Mr. Bjorkman's report. Councillor Bowman, or Councillor Folks and Deputy Mayor Malash. Any questions? All in favor of that motion? Motion carries. Now, get back to... we're at reports from administration, number 8. Is that on? No. Okay, I got some reading to do yet. A is the Building Department report number CBN CBS 08-13. August 2013 building report, August permit summary to August 31st, building permit fees to August 31st, and building permit construction cost to August 31st. Okay. And Councillor Bondi, Councillor Baker, and Councillor Bondi. Question, Councillor Baker.
Yeah, just a comment. I just wanted to kind of point out that in reviewing the report, I think it's important to know out there that our commercial and industrial permits are up 65% year over year to date. Our single-family resident permits are up 36%. So in total, we're up 47% in terms of our permit. And this is construction values. So it's important to note that the signal is out there that there are many good things happening. I think more to come. So I just want to point that out, and that's for the media to know that we are on the move. Thank you.
Thank you.
To thank administration, because I know it's a lot more work when they do a lot more of these permits and with the same amount of people. So thank you.
Thanks for that little information, Bill. And Morley, did you have your hand up? Okay. Nothing further? All in favor of this motion? Motion carries. B, the Planning Department report number planning 2013-31, Essex Center Streetscape and Silo District Plan for Essex Center Ward 1. Deputy Mayor Malash?
Move the recommendation, but I have a question afterwards.
Yes, sir. Supported by Councillor Vokes. Deputy Mayor Malash.
Thank you, Your Worship. Directed to Donna Hunter. There's a $10,000 cost for this CIP plan for Essex Center. Is that budgeted for 2013? Yes. I see heads shaking yes.
Yes,
so
sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Councillor Baker?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a question to administration, to Jeff specifically, or maybe to Donna, I'm not sure. In the estimates of the streetscaping plan for the district, there's a mention that the Silo District is about $1.5 million in its design over a period of years. Does any of that include the painting of the murals that were discussed? Because my understanding was that when that was presented to council, that none of those expenditures would be, or we have not voted on anything, covered by taxpayer dollars. That would be partnerships and fundraising. So could you clarify that for me, please?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. None of the budget has been allocated toward mural paintings or anything like that. Okay. All public art would be the responsibility of other organizations.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick question through you, Your Worship, to perhaps Jeff. I know that the deadline and the tasks are yet to come, but do we have an estimated timeline for the CIP for Essex Center?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we do. The plan that's been submitted by Stemson Kelly starts basically the end of September, and the first public visioning process will start in mid-October or so. He will then list areas of issue and areas of conflict that have to be addressed. Certainly, Steve is welcome to present his case for the parking situation, that sort of thing. So those things are taking place through October, November, and then with a conclusion toward Christmas for the CIP.
Anything further? It's been moved to support the recommendation. All in favor? Motion carries. C, Planning Department report number planning 2013-32, Harrow Center Community Improvement Plan Enhancement, Harrow Center Ward 4. Moved by Councilor Baker, supported by Councilor Bundy. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Malash.
Through you, Your Worship, I had some conversations with the planning group this afternoon and, or this morning, and this whole downtown community improvement plan had a different focus than what we're totally changing the focus of where we're going tonight. If you look at the map, I think that there's some belief that this is a different CIP than what we had developed for the town of Harrow, for the downtown core business. I understand why we're doing this. We've got some opportunity for new industrial in the town of Harrow, and ultimately for the entire town of Essex, good for all of the town of Essex, obviously. But I think I've got this feeling that we're robbing Peter to pay Paul type thing. And I think that in order to satisfy the requirements of being able to get this investment, I'm going to be in favor of moving forward with this change. But I believe that the CIP should be for the entire town of Essex, and I think that we have to act rapidly on making the whole town of Essex an industrial or CIP, and particularly for industrial. I think in 2014 we have to make a commitment to going back to downtown Harrow Core and say we've taken that money from that project or that plan to feed this investment that we want to see come into the town, but we're going to get back to that Harrow core development, downtown development. So although we're passing this tonight, I think we have to revisit again in early 2014 and have our planning department come back to us with an idea of just spelling out where, and I think the planning department realizes this and knows that we can give specific direction to monies for certain projects or certain CIPs, types of CIPs. So I think this is something we have to revisit again in early 2014. I understand why we're doing this tonight, but it's really changing the whole strategy of why that Harrow CIP was developed in the first place. So, like I said, I'm going ahead and I'm going to support this in order for us to have that investment in Harrow Center. But I think going forward, we really need to revisit this again in 2014, and I would really encourage council to reinvest in that CIP that we initially started with, which was the downtown Harrow core. And as we move forward, I think that you're going to see that we need to have that CIP, the industrial CIP for the entire town of Essex, not just quadranted off to one specific area, but the whole town has to be the CIP. So I hopefully we can do that in very early 2014 rather than later. I think we've laid the basis or the foundation now as to what a CIP should be and what we kind of want it to look like and so on. It's just finding the dollars, perhaps, in 2014 to be able to cover off what we want to do. So thank you.
I have Councilor Baker and then Councilor Vokes.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just following up with what Deputy Mayor Malaj said, I certainly can concur with what your thoughts are in terms of looking at our entire municipality for our community improvement plan. And you're right, I think we're focused on this, on the target of opportunity, but at the same time, this enhancement has been written for the downtown as well. If you notice in the plan, some of the mechanism tools provide additional opportunity for bed and breakfast to be developed in actually the center downtown, but it also takes into consideration other areas which are creating a supply chain in that area. 18 acres that are being developed, that are looking at for development there. So this really enhances the opportunity right now. Having said that, moving forward, I agree with you. In 2014, we should look at expanding this opportunity. But getting these tools in place right now, these mechanisms, help this opportunity move forward today. So that's why we're doing this. And I want to commend council and thank them for their focus on this, because this has been very important. And we'll talk about that in a minute.
Councilor Vokes.
Thank you. I agree with Councilor Malash, obviously, too. And we're obviously on the brink of some industrial development in the Essex area, and it has to be much wider than just a selected few. So with that being said, I wholeheartedly agree.
Councillor Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think we had discussions back when the original CIP was in place about extending it further, and I know that we didn't get into the support of council. So although we're doing this for maybe a different reason, there was discussion about extending it in all our different directions to include, capture some of those other businesses. So I don't think we're totally out of the scope of what the CIP had intended. But I also agree that we have to move to a full municipality CIP to include every corner of our municipality as well. So, but I understand target opportunity and the urgency of this.
Okay, anything further? Okay, looking, Councillor Bowman?
Just a quick comment, and I agree with Richard because we spoke about this earlier, and I'm afraid that once a town-wide CIP gets in place, the smaller portion of it, like which was downtown Harrow, to revitalize that might slip by the wayside, and I think that's why it's important that we keep it on the front burner, that it keeps coming forward and then we address those issues, because that was very specific to the downtown area. And I mean, for expediency, we're pushing it out real quick now, but I want to make sure we go back and make sure that those issues are covered.
Mr. Baker, information?
Yeah, Your Worship, just new information based on that. It's important to point out this addition to the CIP that we're adding here provides additional opportunity, but it doesn't take away from the budget we already set for the downtown area. What it does, it provides some tax increment financing, which says that by creating new opportunities, new business, new industry business coming in, that we're going to be getting new jobs, etc. And the new taxes that we would get are paid over a period of time. So we're not taking any opportunity away from that budget that's already there for the downtown area. And what we need to do, quite frankly, is I think as a result of what's coming up next, is we'll be creating a lot more opportunity for uptake for development in the downtown area. So for that reason, we're not taking away from anything, we're actually augmenting that, and it will probably spur that interest.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're looking for, going to ask the question to approve all three recommendations here, this one. Okay, all in favor? Motion carries. D is Community Services Department Report Number 2013-012, possible locations for a dog park. Moved by Councilor Vokes. Oh, okay. To receive the poll. You're making a motion to receive the report? Just receive the report, okay. Seconder. Seconder. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Malash. Okay, questions? Councilor Rhodes.
Obviously, in the report, it's only my opinion, I think Hunter Park would really serve the purpose of what we're looking for. And I think if it's a park, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, fine. That's a motion then.
We have a seconder. Does it matter which one? Yep, okay, Deputy Mayor Malash is the closest. Questions? I just asked administration what they've been doing, because we've asked them to work on this, I believe. You know, do we have something? pointing at? Mr. Olson, you have anything you could enlighten us with?
Your worship, one isn't better than the other, of course. They both provide some parking away from schools, so there isn't one that's better than the other. There is a fence. There is two sides of a fence at Hunter Park right now that would cut the cost down to install a dog park at this location.
I think the individual came to us to ask us to look into our consideration for a dog park, and then at that point in time, once we identified one that they would be raising, the committee would be raising funds to pay for amenities that would put up some signage and fencing, things of that nature, and even, I believe, maybe some maintenance on this. I'm not sure how that works, maybe, but that was the next step. So once we identify an area that we agreed to, now that fundraising committee has an opportunity to say, what do we need for that, work with administration, at their minimum, what do they need to make this go?
I don't disagree with that, but what's the element that is missing as it relates to the fundraising is now that we've determined a piece of real estate for a dog park, that's obvious now, and we know they're doing fundraising, that's obvious now, but I want to have the discussions with them to find out what we can surrender as a town. Maybe it's some equipment, so if they know what we can help them with, as we did with the track, I believe it was, at Maplewood. We went in and we scraped it, and we brought some materials in, we used our equipment to do it, it alleviated their cost, it worked well. So same with the dog park. What is it can we help them with? Can we get John's group or the infrastructure group to help with removing some topsoil if need be? All those things will drive the cost down. So going back to what I said, what's the next step? I know the fundraising's there. I know they're trying to initiate it. So I'm just suggesting that we meet somehow with that group and with administration to say to them, what does this look like to you? How is it going to spell out? And is there something we can help with? Whether it's digging for water connections, whether it's digging for a walking path.
Folks, if I may,
Well-
okay, we're not dealing with what are we going to do. We're dealing with where are we going to put it. So if we can just stick to that, we'll move on to that other. Yeah, I know, we've got a motion for Hunter Park, so we're just I want discussion as to, is this better than over at the arena, things like that. Okay, so I have our CAO, Russ.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, the report that was submitted by administration responds to the earlier question of that Cassandra Finn had brought to council, was to identify locations. Administration has taken that on and identified a couple of locations, ruled many out, and has come back, and as John has indicated, really both sites have certain amenities for and against, and ultimately no recommendation was brought forward, although you have now made motion. There's a motion in front of council to consider Hunter Park. Once that's passed, if that's passed, administration can again meet with the group and convey that information to them and discuss next steps, and we would report back to council further at that point in time. They've made no further request of us as the town at this point in time, nor have we had any conversation with them other than when they made their presentation to you at the previous meeting.
Mayor Malash?
Thank you, through your worship. Out of the two sites, I'm just going to suggest that there are some advantages, as Mr. Olson has mentioned. There'd be less fencing that would have to be put up, so there'd be less cost by using Hunter Park. There's immediate shade at Hunter Park. It's a well-grassed area. It's away from residents. Both sites are actually away from residents, which I think is a good thing. The site at the arena, though, would have to be fencing for the full acre, and that would probably be quite expensive. The other issue at the arena is that we've just recently had an event there this past summer, the military muster, and if we were to put that park there, that would cut down the area that the military muster or any other future event that we would want to have on those grassed areas, whereas Hunter Park would never be used for that kind of an event. So in my mind, I think Hunter Park is the clear choice. I don't think I'd like to see the arena grounds be affected by this, only so that we can have future events possibly in that area. So thank you, Your Worship.
Is there anything further? I'll ask the question. All in favor of Hunter Park? Motion carries. The Communications Department report number Communications 2013-001. Online communications update. Russ? Comment.
Lori apologizes. She was ill. She was in the office this morning, then took ill and wasn't able to be here. She wished to be here this evening to present this or to answer any questions, but the report is fairly well self-explanatory. It does explain a number of the statistics and things like that about the communications of recent, in particular some of our website activities of late, and some analytics that we've received as a result of the new website, or since the new website has gone up. So it's there for your reading pleasure. I think it's certainly very good information and shows some very positive trends. And our appreciation to Lori for compiling that. She'll continue to compile such reports. This was just the first time that you've seen that that information come forward. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councilor Baker? Yes, sir. Moved by Councilor Baker and supported by Councilor Bundy. Councilor Baker
Yeah.
and Deputy Mayor Malash.
Through Your Worship, just a general comment. I want to express thank you to through you to our communication manager tonight, because been a noticeable difference since hiring her, and the work that's been done has been commendable. We're in the news, we're out there all the time, and we're being recognized, and that's certainly kudos to her and everybody who's worked with her on the website, on the Facebook, and all the media releases that go out, where I know I've heard from the media too, because I'm in that business as well, and they're pretty thankful with the information they're getting all the time, and it's well done. So I just want to commend that and thank you.
Deputy Mayor Malash.
I too would like to give kudos to Lori Brett on this, but the whole gang that works with her as well. I know she has some help too. So, and I know she'd want to hear that as well. But I can see this as an opportunity to target some strategic projects that we would have, some initiatives that we want to bring forward in the town, because YouTube is definitely the route to go. Everybody's using it. Anybody that's on computer is using it, I should say. And I really believe that this is something that we can use to our advantage moving forward. So great news that we're getting as many hits as we are. Thank you.
Anything else? Yes. Oops. But 120,000 over the course of a year, you know, that's what they figure there'll be, so that's really good. Ready for the question? All in favor? See. Motion carries. That was F. Environmental Services Department report number Environmental Services 2013-01. Proposed sewer use bylaw. Mr. Baker?
motion right now to hear first and second reading, and I have some comment with regards to it.
Okay. Supported by Councilor Bondi. Baker?
Just one general comment. So, I mean, I guess later we can, if we all agree on this, we can move to a third reading on it, but it's important. Reading through this, and I know these are, and we'll be talking later on tonight about the bylaws that are coming forward that we do or we don't know. And I know this is a required, and it's needed, this bylaw, environmental services for discharge of waters into our storm system sanitary. But there's a clause in here that it's kind of, it needs some clarity. There's clause number 21 when it says, no person shall discharge or cause to permit the discharge of water originating from a source other than municipal water supply, which I get that, including stormwater, sanitary waste, groundwater, or directly or indirectly into the sanitary sewer. Well, I understand that, but so I know a lot of people collect rainwater. They collect rainwater for their gardens. So is that, how do we classify that? And also, what's the issue with regards to emptying a pool? We haven't mentioned that. I mean, because there are chlorines and there are other things in there. So maybe I'll look some answers through administration on that particular issue with regards to not discharging water originating from other sources, including stormwater. Maybe Chris, you can answer that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up to where you're at. So, through your worship,
21.
as far as the pool would be set in the limits that are contained within, and the limits within the pool are well below the limits here. So, and we've talked the pool issue before. The pool should be discharged to the sanitary sewer and not to the storm sewer. That's supposed to be how it works. That's why they get charged sewage when they fill their pools, because ultimately it should be discharged to the sanitary sewer. As far as clause 21, no person shall discharge or cause or permit the discharge of water originating from another source other than municipal water supply, including stormwater, sanitary waste, or groundwater, directly or indirectly to a sanitary sewer. It's not the storm sewer, it's
Okay.
the sanitary sewer.
So sanitary, all right.
So rainwater should go to the storm
Okay.
sewer, not to the sanitary sewer.
Okay, thank you.
And through your worship, I wanted to make a comment. The bylaw is, and it's very simple, I guess. We didn't have one. We need one. Here it is. There was nothing that, I guess, precipitated. There was no business that we're trying to help or block. It was just something we didn't have, we should have, especially with the growth that we're starting to see, which is great. We've been getting more requests, if we have one, from these developers who are used to seeing them. So we thought it prudent, we better get one in place. So.
Any further questions? I'll go to Councilor Bowman.
On the same clause that you were just referring to, how does that deal with people that have their own wells? Because that would not be municipal water. I don't know, there's still some of them out there that would have wells that would be discharging into our septic or our sanitary sewers or not.
Through your worship, that's a good question. That specific, I don't have a specific answer for you at this time.
And maybe there's nobody doing that right now, but I know there were some.
Through your worship, there definitely are people on wells. The ones I know of aren't on sanitary as well.
Okay, Marley? If I could go back to Mr. Baker, would you approve the third reading tonight, sir? Okay, seconder? Yes, okay. Ready for the question? All in favor? Motion carries. G, Planning Department Report Number Planning 2013-33. Site Plan Control Approval and Agreement. EnerQuest Services Incorporated, 360 Queen Street, Harrow, Ward 4. Moved by Councilor Vokes, seconded by Councilor Bondi. Any questions? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries. H has been done with correspondence. Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Councillor Morley Bowman, Long-Standing Services Award recipient. I've congratulated Morley, as I think most of you people have, but there will be a formal presentation later on in the fall. So, way to go, Morley. But I'm going to ask for someone to move receipt of the correspondence first, Morley. John Scott and Randy Folks, Councillor Bowman, you have the floor.
I just wanted to say thanks to all the well-wishers on that one. It just shows that Lori's working hard where she is, because I'm getting tweets all day from people that saying congratulations. So she got the message out there quick today. So, again, thanks everyone.
Well deserved, Morley. Okay. We voted on that. Hey, we voted on that. Okay. Okay, B, County of Essex, Fort Malden National Historic Site and Point Pelee National Historic Site. Motion received by Councillor Vokes, supported by Councillor Scott. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. C, Leamington Area Right to Life, Essex and Harrow Life Change. Councillor Vokes, Councillor Bondi. Councillor Bondi?
I do have a quick comment for this correspondence here. I do support the democratic right to protest and to picket. I do it myself for causes that I believe in. I know this is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. For me, I have a personal story here, obviously. And so, might get upset, but I personally would prefer to see people stand and hold up signs that are pro-adoption, because there are a lot of unplanned pregnancies in this world, and not enough people support women that have unplanned pregnancies. And I think that we could reduce the amount of terminated pregnancies if our society was a bit more supportive of women that chose adoption. Adoption wasn't an easy choice for my family, but it was definitely the right choice. And every time I see women on the road or men on the road holding up signs that are against abortion, I think in my head, why can't you hold up a sign that says pro-adoption? Because I think that message is so much more better. And that's all I have to say. Obviously, it's very personal to me, but I think I want to talk to these people. And maybe if we, as a society and as a region, talked and changed our language about adoption, we could reunite so many childless families with so many women that have not unwanted pregnancies, but unplanned pregnancies. And that's my 2 cents. And I've wanted to say that every time I've seen this correspondence on the agenda, and I did.
Anyone else? Just one question to the notification of the Essex OPP. Does that have to be done by us, or it looks like that here, and not the Right to Life people?
Through your worship, they may have notified them, but we just do so the police are aware of the event that's taking place.
Okay. Thank you very much. We voted on this one? Yep, that's all. E, Essex and District Lions Club, Tag Day, Saturday, October 27th. Beg pardon? Oh, D, yes. I got a yes beside D. We're on D, Wave Direct Telecommunications, Harrow Arena and Essex Recreation Complex Wi-Fi hotspot proposal. Councillor Vokes moves. Okay. Oh, yeah. And that we agree with the request? Okay. Okay. Now we need a seconder? Yes, we just need a seconder here. Councilor Scott? Yes, sir.
Wave Direct is here to answer any questions. If there's any questions on this.
Baker?
So thank you for that, through your worship, and maybe this is more of an administration thing. We're getting this proposal in, and it sounds like a great proposal, but I just want to make sure that we're complying with our procurement bylaw. Here we're taking an offer in, and do we need to go out for an RFP, or have we interest in doing this? And if so, is this the only proponent out there? Because and I would like to know what the value is in terms of the boards as opposed to the value of the Wi-Fi that we're getting. So those are important things to know, because I'm not sure. I mean, if we were interested in doing this, would we not go out for interest to do it? Is number one. Or because we do have other proponents in the community who also, which are local, which have Wi-Fi companies. So I guess my question is, are we okay in doing this directly for some barter, for some trade, or should we, if we're interested in this, what offers are out there? I guess that's my question generally. While the offer seems very interesting, I need to know what the values are on both ends of it, what our board values are, what the values for the free Wi-Fi are going to be, and have we approached our local proponents or an interest out there for this?
That's probably directed to you, Jack.
We have looked at the value of the arena boards, and it definitely, the proposal from Wave Direct, the value definitely is much more than what the boards would cost us. I don't have the figure in front of me, but I know for us, I think it's going to be about $300 or $400 a year for our board, and that's just the rental space on the wall. So the hardware and everything, the internet coming from Wave Direct definitely supersedes that price or that cost. Another thing is that we have it in the budget for the town to install some sort of Wi-Fi at the Harrow Arena. On top of just hardware, there's internet, and then there's ongoing maintenance. So if there's any issue with, say on the weekend, the public is having a problem, so then there's more management of that, of the internet, and also we take on the responsibility of providing public internet.
So as a follow-up, I guess to kind of bring this in perspective, if we had a solar company wanted to come and do our engineering, and they want to do an engineering study in exchange for putting up some solar panels on one of our rooftops, would we still go through the same process? Would we permit that? I guess I'm trying to get some understanding here that, is it okay that somebody just approaches for a deal, and yet are we supposed to, from our procurement policy, go through a process? I just want to find that out to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Well, I think on this agreement, there is a 3-year term, so we could evaluate that after the 3 years, just to see if we do get any requests from other companies that are interested, and then at that time, we can review that and say, yes, we've gotten requests from, a couple of companies, maybe at that time it will be time to RFP it. I know we looked at a couple other things, and there was, not this specific, but other things we've done at the arenas, and there's been no interest from other companies, so we've worked with them directly.
Okay, so the last question through to Donna. Does this fit in with our procurement policy?
Through you, Your Worship, there is no issue with the procurement policy. We have done this in the past where companies approach the town. Everybody has that ability to approach the town if they wish, and they would want to provide something similar to that. But this is the only one, to my knowledge, we've ever had approach the town. So there really is no issue with the procurement policy in that sense. Does that answer your question? That's okay.
Deputy Mayor Malash?
Thank you, Your Worship. So we have a letter here that tells us what they want to do, but we don't have any recommendation here from administration telling us whether this is a good deal or not. I mean, that's the reason why we're asking the question. So I mean, basically, this is what we need to do. We need a recommendation from administration. Is this a good deal? Are you thinking that this is reasonable?
I definitely would, yes. Just because this is the first time we've had public internet at the Harrow Arena, so I think it would be a win-win for one, for the arena, and secondly, it's a local internet provider, so to get their name out and to promote their business as well.
Thank you, that's what I needed to hear. Thanks.
Anything further? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Donna? Okay. Jack?
One more thing to add on that. Like I said, there was some funds in the budget for this. I would suggest that to take those funds and redirect those to the Essex Arena for new arena dressing room assignment boards. We've run into some issues with the dressing room assignment boards at the Essex Arena. It's about 6-year-old technology where the arena workers are complaining that it's slow, it doesn't work, and we've looked at the system, and it's becoming a health and safety issue with the public and the dressing room assignment boards not updating quick enough. So I would like to I've already spoken with the facilities manager and inform them, or ask them if that, if that would be a good idea, and they both agreed. So could we defer those funds for the Harrow Wi-Fi to the arena boards?
That figure being?
$7,000 is in the budget.
Councilor Baker?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand what we're at. We have one proposal in a communication, a correspondence document. We're making a decision on $7,000, and it's not ask in this here. This is an additional ask?
No, yes. So now that this has been approved, there are funds available that was allocated in the budget for this project. I would like to use those funds for the Essex Arena dressing room assignment board.
So this brings up an issue then. So this was a project that was funded.
Yes, this was in the budget.
So if this project was funded, were we not going to go out for an RFP on this?
We were going to get local quotes. What's that? Sorry, for an RFP, yes, sorry.
So I'm just confused. So now we're approving something. We're going to be now taking the money that was budgeted for a regular procurement process, and we're now going to take the funds and move them into something else, based on this letter.
No, that'd be a separate motion, sir.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we have to deal with this.
Well, this has already been dealt with.
No, we haven't voted on it yet. So we must vote on this before we bring up, what are we going to do with that money?
We actually already approved
Oh,
this letter.
we voted on this one.
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay.
So now we're being asked to take the money that was allocated for this project and move it to another project. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm not sure the process. Okay, I just don't agree with the process. And so for that reason, I will not be voting for that.
Donna?
If it comes back in a report, by all means, but not this process.
Donna? Okay.
Although I really like the proactive thinking of trying to kill two birds with one stone, it'd be something I would do. I would like to see that project, the boards go to budget. And maybe the $7,000 can go to our play structure in the Harrow Center or something. I know, if it's needed, I'm sure John Olson can provide a report to us and we can deal with that. We're almost in 2014 budget deliberations. I hope, departments are getting their, their concerns in. So I do admire your thinking and your ambition, but if I supported politically moving the 7,000 from the Harrow Arena and sent it to the Essex Center Arena, I'd probably be annihilated, especially in absence of a new play structure in Harrow Center, which we need.
Okay, next item is E, Essex and District Lions Club Tag Day. Saturday, October 26th, sorry. Oh, Deputy Mayor Malash? Yep. Okay. Mayor will second it. Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry. Seconded by Councillor Vokes. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. F, Coan Park Appreciation Day Tournament Supper, September the 28th, 2013. Moved by Councillor Vokes, Deputy Mayor Malash supports, with a comment.
Okay, thank you, folks. So this is coming up September the 28th. All of council's invited. Amherstburg Council's invited as well. There will be a dinner, I believe it's from 6 till 8. Dedication of a park tree to Mr. Hector Lucier, who has been a very valuable member of the community in many ways, not just at Coan Park, but he sat on the Coan Park board for a number of years. There are chicken and steak dinners available. We would like to have as many council members out as possible between 6 and 8 o'clock. I have tickets, so if you'd like some tickets and you can commit to that evening, let me know and I'd be more than glad to sell you a ticket. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Number 10, committee meeting minutes, Committee of Adjustment, August 20th, 2013. Moved by Councillor Vokes, supported by Councillor Baker. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. B is Essex Accessibility Advisory Committee, February 19, 2013. Councillor Vokes moves, supported by... And the resolution, Randy, also, okay, be approved. Councillor Vokes moves, supported by Councillor Baker. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Essex Accessibility Advisory Committee, June 11, 2013. Okay. Yep. Councillor Baker?
Yeah, through your worship. So while I support this, what determines where this goes? Has administration looked at where the curb cut should go? I'm not sure how this is. Does the committee determine where it goes, or just that the need is there? Maybe through Donna?
Through you, your worship, I think at this point the committee is just suggesting that there's one needed there, whether or not it can be done or accommodated. I guess that would be up to infrastructure and
Okay,
development.
thanks.
Okay. Anything further? All in favor of the motion? Motion carried. The Communities in Bloom Committee, July 23rd, 2013. Deputy Mayor Malash moves to receipt, supported by Councillor Bondi. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Bureau Committee, July 17th, 2013. Councillor Bondi, Councillor Bowman. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Bylaws, bylaw number 1251, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the September 16, 2013 regular meeting of Council of the Corporation of the Town of Essex. Councillor Vokes, Councillor Bondi, any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Financial, August check register. Councillor Bondi and Councillor Vokes, any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Council discussions. First, Councillor Randy Vokes to deal with conferences.
Worship, you need a notice of motion.
Okay, then I'll make a motion. Is that what you're looking for, Cheryl?
Yes, we need a, yeah, we're going to deal with this one. Then the notice of motion will come stating you want to discuss the other item at the next meeting.
Yeah, to be quite frank with you, I just thought that was moved forward from when I originally raised it. Right? When I originally raised, that's for any infrastructure funding overrun or under. That's when the worship ceremony that we were done, because you can't do that. Okay, listen,
Yeah,
I'll talk
okay.
about it tomorrow, I'll work it out.
Send me an email.
So just whatever I got on the agenda tonight, move to the next.
Yeah, conference discussion. We have a seconder that approves this, that he withdraws it. Oh, we're just deferring it, okay. Postpone, postpone to the next meeting, so we don't have to vote to do that. Okay, good. Thanks, Randy. We've already dealt with B, so, okay, yep. Councilor Baker, bylaw preparation registry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, this is just a discussion. I know that, we have a lot of things that come before us in terms of making decisions, council reports, etc. One of the most important things is the number of bylaws that we have to approve over a period of time. And I'm asking that we look at creating a bylaw registry that kind of informs us in terms of bylaws that are work in progress and what departments or situation has initiated that, and whether council provided direction or not, and what bylaws may be in consideration, in what department, and for what reason, and whether or not council has provided that, and when in each of these bylaws in the registry, when first and second reading are expected. What happens is tonight, obviously, it was an important bylaw tonight, but this comes us without prior notice. It's important that we can see a registry of what's coming forward. Oftentimes, we have bylaws that are initiated by special interests, which is okay, initiated maybe by councillors by themselves and or administration. While I don't disagree with any of those movements, it's be important for us to know when these bylaws are on a registry so we know they're coming, so that there is important and the reasons why they're coming. What's happened in the past is we've got the bylaws in front of us one particular night, not knowing anything about the bylaw until we got the report, until we got our council. So I would look support here to maybe the motion that we create, that we ask administration to create a bylaw registry. Anything that's coming up that is in the works already that we know about ahead of time and when it's expected to come to council, if we can. And maybe I'll ask administration for some comments on that. So I look for support on moving that.
Okay, we have a second now for discussion. I was just going to go to administration myself, Bill, just as you asked for direction. Like, I know our municipality is run by bylaws and, resolutions. Now, I have no idea if a bylaw takes 6 months, 3 months, maybe it takes a week. I don't know. If my question would be to administration, is this available that we get the heads up to it? So I'll ask administration for comments. Russ?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, this was an item that has been discussed by administration recently. I asked last week while I was away for staff to take a tally of the types of bylaws in response to the councillor's question. and I know that that study is being undertaken. I don't know, I don't have the results with me at present. Certainly there, as is clear, most of your work is approved by law. You put into place, even the proceedings of this evening's meeting ends up being a bylaw. It's my understanding that we do generate a lot, and we will take count of that and give a sense to council as to what those are and a bit of the background on that. As to a registry, that's something we can possibly put up in front of council on a regular basis, or put it maybe on a website somewhere where, private access to it or something, or make that available. I don't think at any given time there's a lot under consideration. They do come up regularly. In the most recent situation, the unfortunate part with the water and sewer, or the wastewater aspect, was that came up in a hurry, and there was other information that should have gone out in advance of that. For that, administration recognizes, and we are faulted for that. We'll do a better job of that in the future. But as far as the registry, I guess my personal view is on that is that it's an additional load on your administration, that we're already a busy group. To take yet another database to say we've got a database of the stuff that's coming, we're having a hard enough time keeping up with the stuff that's passed, never mind what might be around the corner. So it's kind of a bittersweet issue, I guess, for us. I understand your want to know what's out there in front of you, but it can be difficult for us at times to understand what's coming down the pike, because the province says they want something. We've got to get it through you very quickly to get another law put in place.
So maybe a little clarity from my point of view then. I guess more so those bylaws that are in consideration that may be driven by administration. For some particular reason, you have a department head that says we have an issue, we have a problem out there, we need to look at crafting a bylaw. So that's one example. We had some special interest groups who initiated a bylaw, initiated the drafting of a bylaw or discussion, and that was from the health unit regarding the smoking. Those issues like that, I'm not talking about every single law we have to pass to make a movement. I understand that. But those that are significant issues in the community that are driven, A, by either department internally, or B, driven by special interests, or C, driven by an individual councillor who would like to go out there and create a bylaw because of some special interest. I don't disagree with that, because that's our job. But we should know ahead of time that they're coming. Those are the ones I'm speaking of, not the everyday minutia that every move we make, we have to make a bylaw. It's those that are really fundamental to us making a big difference in the community. So those were some examples that I used.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you. Just in reply to that, or in response, one of my goals would be that the minutes of the senior management team, which we do circulate to all of council, would reflect the work of administration at the senior level, such that you would see the types of things or the activities that we are working on at any given time. And so that's something we're delinquent in that. I was away, I did not get last meeting's minutes out to you, but it should give council a sense, and the senior administration, the types of things we're working on. We keep an abeyance log of those things that are not yet resolved, so we don't get anything off the agenda until it's dealt with. So until you've either approved it by law or it's gone away, it stays on our agenda. So that's a goal. It's not perfect yet, but we're certainly working or striving towards that.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I'd be personally very satisfied just with that. If that's where the communication comes from in your reports, which are, we really appreciate those because it keeps us abreast of what's going on. If that's where they're identified, that's good enough from what I'm bringing forward. It's just those issues that come up, a significant bylaw that's presented on the Thursday before council, and we're asking first, second, and third reading on it. And that's where I still continue to have a difficulty with. So that's where, if the communication is in advance through your reports, that I can accept as being part of the registry, really. It's just the notice that they're coming and who is initiating the bylaw. That's important. If it's internal by a department, that's okay, but that will come from your communication, I think, from senior management. So we know where this is being driven by, or is it being driven by an individual advocate group? Let's know about that. Those are the things really that I'm looking at, not the ones that are